In this video, I'll show you how easy it is to quill a snowflake by following my pre-measured patterns. Visit my blog to download my free PDF template. As usual, you'll find the link in the notes below. Now before I begin, I want to ask how many of you are like me, a hybrid paper crafter. I love it when my two worlds of quilling and die cutting collide. If you are, you'll be happy to know that I've also got an SVG file waiting for you on my blog, so you can import it and cut your strips to the right length. I've made a file that cuts 2 snowflakes for every sheet of paper. So please comment below with the word hybrid and let me know that I'm not alone. Okay, let's get started on quilling a snowflake. The paper I'm using is called Star Dream. The color is Bluebell and it's a metallic paper by Nina. I'll link to it below. I love this text weight, which is 120 GSM or 81 pounds text. It's a little thicker than conventional bond weight paper, but still supple enough for quilling. The shimmer that you see is the perfect touch to give your snowflake. If you don't have this paper, you can add shimmer easily by dabbing a metallic ink pad on top of your finished snowflake. I'm cutting my strips a 1/4 inch wide here because I like the look, but you can use any width you prefer. Lay your strip on top of my template and cut it to the same length. There's a corresponding table here that tells you what all the pieces are. For item A, it's 9 inches long, and you can use a ruler or just place your strip on top of my ruler here and cut 6 pieces. For item B, it's 5 inches long, and you need to fold it sharply in half. Why do I say sharply? Because when I've taught people, they just kind of crimp it and wonder, why does their quilled snowflake not look as good as mine? It's very subtle, but I find little touches like this make a big difference overall. For item C, it's also 5 inches long and we need 6 pieces. For you hybrid crafters, please note that there's actually 2 snowflakes here on one sheet. And don't take it off the mat just yet. You see these 2 marks? I'm going to score across all the strips at the same time to make my folding easier. Let's start by coiling strip A and releasing into either a 12mm circle template or a number 3 circle template board. I got this one at the dollar store, and if you're wondering why I have foam squares underneath, it's because I want to raise it up from the surface of my table so that it corrals my strips better. I like how this board has a cork underneath and 6 of the same size, so I can leave it in there to dry, but I find sometimes my coils can pop out by accident quite readily. So when I raise my dollar store version higher, it's less likely to do that. As for the cork, I got this trivet from IKEA and wrapped plastic wrap around it so no glue will get stuck to it. Then I placed my dollar store template on top and I'm ready to go. Whichever circle template you're using, release your coil within it and let it expand. Now we just have to glue the end closed. With a pair of tweezers, I tend to pick up quite a few coils just to make sure that they don't come undone. And then I add a little dab of glue and set it back into the template to allow the glue to fully dry. After the coils are dry, let's pick them up and position your fingers to pinch along the seam. That's so that we hide that edge. And we're going to position our opposite hand on the opposite side. We're going to pinch at the same time to form a Marquise shape. Let's shape strip B. These are already folded, so we just need to coil the ends outwards to make a V scroll. Place it on the template and check that the size matches the template. To make sure both ends of my V scroll are the same, I tend to unravel and re-ravel them together at the same time. Let's prepare strip C. Just as we did with strip A, we're going to coil and release into a circle template and then glue it closed. We're going to use a 9mm or number 5 circle. This time we're only going to pinch the seam end, and this is going to make a teardrop shape. Now that all my shapes are made, I'm going to face them in the same direction. What do I mean by that? Take a close look at the innermost coil. Can you see the letter C? Since my name starts with the letter C, I use that as a mental note to always look for the innermost coil to all face the same direction. When you go to glue your coils, it'll look more cohesive. It's a subtle thing, but your eyes will be able to tell that something is off. Then I also make sure all my seam ends are facing the same way, so that when I pick them up and glue them together, I want to hide all the seams towards the middle. I'm going to start assembling my snowflake by gluing 3 Marquise together. Using a ruler, I'm going to glue the seam ends toward the middle. Then I'll do the same with the remaining 3 Marquise. Now that both halves are dry, I'm going to attach these halves together. Now that all the shapes are finished, I'm going to cut my grid out of my template, and I'm going to slip it underneath my cling wrap here, and I'm ready to assemble my snowflake. Please remember, everyone, this template is made out of paper and it's not written in stone, so don't feel like your quilling has to match it exactly. It's more of a grid to help you align your arms of the snowflake more than anything else. So I'm just going to use some pins here and working one arm and then the opposite arm, I'm just going to pin them all in place. Now I'm ready to add a little dab of glue right here and here so that I can stick part B on here. And again, you can use some pins to hold this in place so that you can move on to the next part. Now, when I apply glue on this next arm, I'm actually going to apply it on this part as well, right here. And that way I'll have a better security. And now that we're down to the final shape, it's all downhill from here. I'm just going to apply glue to both those coils and insert the teardrop between them. And that's going to help secure everything. Don't forget, as you glue, to occasionally press your fingers down against the surface and let the glue take hold of the strips flat. That's going to make your gluing to your card surface a lot easier. If you're all inspired to start quilling a blizzard of snowflakes, you can also download my free blank grid and use it to create any design you want.